Good morning, friends. What do you think about this beautiful day once again? A little bit chilly this morning, but it sure is warming up. I'm excited for this warmer weather. Starting to feel really good. Still a little bit sweatshirt weather, but before you know it, we're going to be in t-shirts and hanging out together in this beautiful sun. Absolutely love it. Well, it's also the time for getting stuff done. A little bit sore this morning after doing a bunch of yard work and cleaning up, raking. And lately, we've been getting together with family and friends, and we've been playing some disc golf, which is pretty exciting. Down in Prairie du Chien at the St. Ferial Island, you can go play disc golf for free. They've got it all set up, and it sure has been a lot of fun. Good exercise. Get out and enjoy the weather, and enjoy friends' company. Are you happy to see me? Or is that a Subway Club footlong in your pocket? I hope not. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why tonight or this afternoon. Why Subway tends to be sounds like a good choice, but isn't always the best choice. So I'll share that with you tonight. I want to do something different on live tonight, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So 4 weeks in of my social experiment to see if I can gain traction to start podcasting and going live on Facebook. I've got over 50 subs on YouTube, which is not a lot, but it is when you first start out. So it's exciting to think that 50 people would be interested in what I have to say. So I'm excited to open up that platform and start going live on that platform as well. But this week we're kicking off fitness, nutrition, and exercise. So today I want to kick it off by talking to you about dieting. When we talk about dieting, it's important to understand what words mean what, right? So when we say diet, there's two things we can mean. We can mean diet as in the kinds of food that we habitually eat or eat often. And then there's dieting, or you can use the same word diet if you're going to go on a diet. And that's restricting yourself to a certain food, either for medical or for weight loss. So understanding that we all have a diet, that's what our food consists of. But when we're trying to do something, let's say we want to gain weight, we want to build muscle. If you're a young person or even a middle-aged person like myself, I still want to build a little bit more weight, a little bit more muscle. But I also want to cut some weight too. And I've been doing this now for over 4 weeks, and it's been showing. And I won't mind showing you some of the results of what I've accomplished. I do have a little bit of a background in this, a little disclaimer. I'm no professional by any means on any of this material that I'm sharing. So when I share this information with you, I want you to understand that this is just one guy on the internet sharing his opinion and his journey on what's worked for me and what makes sense to me. And you do the rest by being encouraged and inspired. And then you do the research yourself and come up with what works for you. As far as fitness and nutrition, exercise, I have been a personal trainer in the past for a couple of years. I was with 24 Hour Fitness for a while before they became popular with The Biggest Loser back in the early 2000s, I believe it was. And also was a nutrition expert as well as a personal trainer with a Heroes Gym, which was a really cool gym in Madison. I believe they switched over to Gold's Gym. But really interesting dream that a man had in his 40s to start a gym full of superheroes hanging from the ceiling, and a waterfall and a shark tank, and that was pretty neat looking back. But I did go to school for a little bit. I've got a diploma in nutrition, and then kind of a diploma with personal training. 24-Hour Fitness sent me to their own school for training, and then I also studied it for a little bit outside of school, or outside of high school. So I do have information. It has worked for me, it's worked for other people, and it's just a general knowledge of how things work. Side note, voice is a little bit deeper. We had some family and friends over, and a couple people had some things going on, a little bit of sickness, and my son ended up getting a cold. And then last night I just started feeling a tickle in my throat. Want to know what works for me for that? Zinc and echinacea. Those two have been proven to be effective, as well as vitamin C, in helping fight against the cold virus. And plenty of fluids and rest. I didn't do the rest part. Had too much stuff to do. But it definitely feels good to be outside and to work and use those muscles, and can feel a little bit of the weight kind of slimming down around my midsection. Feel healthier, making better decisions. So with that being said, I am qualified enough to talk about this subject, but I just want you to understand I'm not an expert in this. So always consult your doctor. Always talk about the plans that you have for your own life with your physician, so they can help you with that side of things. With that being said, it's important to understand when we're talking about this subject, especially weight loss, dieting fads do work. You heard me right. They do work. There's no question that changing your diet up will absolutely work. But in the long run, most people will fail. Because when you're talking about a diet, that's the food that you habitually consume. That means that you've grown accustomed to it, you enjoy it, it's something that either provides comfort, but also satiety or a feeling of satisfaction. And so changing your diet to something that is a fad will work if you're in a calorie deficit, meaning you take in less calories than you consume or burn. So in other words, if I take in a total of 3,000 calories and I only burn 1,500 calories for the day, that's going to put me in a surplus. And when you count that up day after day after day, you'll constantly be in a surplus that will add up to extra weight or extra energy needing to be stored inside of your body. That's usually through adipose tissue. That's your fat cells. And fat cells never disappear. Once they're created, they never disappear unless you pull them out, cut them off, liposuction. They only shrink. And the same is true with muscle, but we're not going to get into muscle right now. That'll be for another episode. So that's stored as excess energy. And so if you think about what you're consuming now, being in a calorie deficit is going to be the thing that's going to allow you to get to your goal weight. Not switching to a special diet. All of these things can help, but they're very minute, right? Eating healthy will help you in the long run with your overall health, but it's not necessarily going to help you with weight loss. It's about being in a calorie deficit. So just to give you an idea, well, let me back up just a little bit. 80% of your goals for weight loss is going to come through your nutrition. It's going to come through what you consume. Only 20% of that comes from exercise. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but let's say you jump on a treadmill that actually tracks your calories. You jump on a treadmill and let's say you go for 30 minutes and you're sweating and you're huffing and puffing and you look down and it says 150 calories burned. Have you ever done that and then just shake your head like 150 calories? I almost passed out after that workout. And then you think about a 12-ounce soda being 150 calories. You could have done the same amount of work by just not drinking a soda, a sugar soda. So it's pretty crazy when you think about that. Honestly, though, when you compare apples to apples, that exercise that you did is way better than just cutting out a soda. Because that exercise you did also works on your cardiovascular system, so strengthens your heart, helps with hormone levels. When you're talking about the way that your body processes different hormones, and that's another subject I want to get into. Actually, for tomorrow, I want to talk about hormones and how they play a role in weight loss as well. Aaron, there's a course at Osborne Pond. Oh, interesting. Oh, that might be fun. Appreciate you saying that, buddy. Good morning, Brian. Aaron, that's really cool. I might want to go check that out because we're having a lot of fun down at Prairie playing that disc golf. Be kind of fun to switch it up. So being in a calorie deficit. So let's take for instance. Well, let me give you this information. There's been research it's pretty old. It's not exactly the greatest, but it's a standard that you can run by. So 3,500 calories, 3,500 calories is equal to 1 pound of body fat. Now, give or take, male, female, your weight, your size, there's a lot of factors that play into that. But overall, it's a good rule of thumb that 3,500 calories is equal to losing 1 pound of body fat. Because you can also lose water, you also can lose a little bit of lean mass or your muscle mass, different things that can fluctuate with your weight. That's why it's more about looking at your body and the shape of it more than it is just standing on a scale to see where you're at. But if 3,500 calories is equal to a pound of body fat, that means that 500 calories a day for a whole week, in theory, will lose you 1 pound of body fat. So think about what that would look like. Let's say in the morning you like coffee, but you like a special coffee. You like a sugary, caramely, chocolatey, whatever. And let's say that thing is, honestly, those things can be up to ridiculous amount of calories. But let's say that it's only 250 calories. Look at a black coffee that's 5 calories. Then let's talk about evening. Let's say you want a little dessert. You got a little sweet tooth going on, so you choose a cup of ice cream. Almost 300 calories, give or take. You substitute that with, let's say, a cup of, or half a cup of fresh fruit. 70 calories. These are approximates. You've just put yourself, by making the coffee choice and by making the ice cream choice in the evening, or the fruit choice versus the ice cream, you've now put yourself in a 500 calorie deficit. If that's your normal routine or your normal diet, you've just put yourself in a calorie deficit of 500 calories. You do that for 7 days in a row, you just make that simple change, you'll lose a pound a week. Now add that up, and how many weeks would that take you? Fat loss or weight loss is never a quick fix. Anytime somebody says there's an easy button for it, you know it's not going to work, you know it's a scam, they want your money. It is about choices, just like psychology is. It's a day-to-day thing, and it's a day-to-day belief, something you hold fast to and something you stay strong with and make good choices that lead to more good choices. And so that's how you'll sustain the goals that you want to try to reach in your life. So the first thing that I would do if I were to tailor a program for you or talk to you about this subject, which I am, is I would say, first of all, get educated. Understand, and we'll talk about this tonight, macros. The amount of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats that you eat. It's a percentage. And it's a percentage based on each person's age, sex, a lot of different factors. But in general, there's a rule of percentages, and I'll share that with you tonight. But I would educate you on understanding macros and calorie deficits, and then one of the biggest things you want to do is count your calories. And so some of these fad diets, even though they work right away, don't always last long. Some of them can. Things like Weight Watchers and other programs where it has you looking at food labels and counting calories can absolutely be a long-term thing. And so first of all, just being educated and then really knowing what you're looking for. So if you want to reach a goal weight, it's important to understand it and then to know what you're looking for. And so tonight, I want to do something different. I'm really excited about this. For the live question and answers, we're going to switch it up a little bit. I'm still going to do question and answers. But tonight, I'm going to go up in my kitchen, and I am going to figure out how I'm going to do my phone, either set it up on a tripod or my son, the tech guy, is going to help me follow me around with the phone. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a healthy meal for you, and we're going to label read. We're going to look at the label. We're going to look at the calorie content, and then we're going to look at all the macros. And then we're going to make that meal together. And I want to show you how that looks. Because it's what I'm doing. It's what I've been following. So I'm not sharing information that I don't do myself. And it absolutely works. But there's no quick button. It takes time. It takes perseverance. And it does take willpower. But when you have something in front of you that you're looking forward to, maybe you want to wear that bikini, maybe you want to wear that Speedo this summer. If you keep that goal in the front of your mind, that's what can continue to be your motivation to go after when you have those short-term cravings for something that you know is probably not the best choice for you. Okay, I think I've covered everything here. So understanding, first of all, that it's all nutrition. 80% is nutrition, 20% is your exercise. Counting calories, understanding that it's about being in a calorie deficit, and then making decisions that will last long-term, not short-term quick fixes. And so tonight, around 5:30, we're going to go ahead and make a meal together. And I'll post that for everyone to see, so that if you click join on that group tonight on Facebook Live, it will alert you when I go live. And so if that interests you, follow along with me. I'll cook us a healthy meal. I just won't be able to serve you unless you pop over to the house. And then tomorrow, let's talk about hormones. Let's talk about Jessica. I don't know why that just made me think of a joke my dad taught me. Inside joke. I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it. But how hormones affect your body and how they affect weight loss is very important, because they absolutely play a role. And the more body fat that you have, the more you restrict some of these hormones from working. And it can become very off balance. So it's important to understand, if you've ever tried dieting or fad diets or tried to lose weight and you failed, there's reasons why you failed. And it's very simple to understand. But there has to be first education, then there's got to be a willpower and determination to combat that. Okay? So that will cover my live for this morning about diet. Join me tonight if you will. I'll put the link in my Facebook page. But join me tonight around 5:30 and we'll make a meal and we'll talk about label reading and we'll talk about macros, protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and the percentages that you want to have in your diet if you want to reach goals. And keep in mind, failure is part of the process. You're going to trip up. You're going to fail. So we'll account for that. And I'll talk to you more about how to account for failure when it comes to making changes in your diet. But ultimately, it's about sticking to it and making some lifelong decisions on how you get your energy and how you consume food and your relationship to food. A little bit of the psychology as well. Some of us have unhealthy relationships with food, and that will need to be addressed as well. As always, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's going to get into the 70s. I know I've got more work to do, but I'm excited to see you tonight for a great dinner. So go out there, be productive, and then join me tonight and let's have dinner. All right? I love you guys. Until tonight, take care.